Alright. Testing microphone.
Testing, and testing.
My name is Emmanuel, and welcome to Conversations at Lunch. My name is Emmanuel, and welcome to Conversations at Lunch. Welcome to Conversations at Lunch. Welcome to Conversations at Lunch. My name is Emmanuel, and welcome to Conversations at Lunch. Alright, first of all, I want to say a big shout out to our sponsors. Again, we don't have sponsors yet. Today I want to talk about something that really I do not like to talk about, because it's something that I strongly wrestle with. I dare say almost every week. And I know that every person listening to me right now would have days where they really felt this thing hit them deep, like deep in your spleen, what I want to talk about today is nothing other than disappointment. Yup, disappointment. I'm very sure you have at some point felt disappointed in yourself, in people, in the universe, even in God. And I'm not just going to come here and drop some theological garbage in you, or, with all due respect to my theological people, theological jargon. That's not my plan today. Instead, I want to take you through disappointments for me. I spend the next 40 something minutes talking about what disappointment has been for me, or examples of disappointments just layering up to this very moment. And I hope at the end of this conversation you'll be able to draw some kind of hope and faith from my story. Alright, 2019 is a very important time for me, or year for me rather, because in 2019 I dropped out of my second university. Yup, if you heard me correctly. 2019 I dropped out of my second university. What do you mean, Emmanuel? What do you mean you dropped out of your second university? Alright, I explain. Let me backtrack for you a bit. So I was in one university, and then I switched to another university in 2018. In 2018, I remember I got a better course because I was studying biology science. Yep, not education, not biology education now. Biology science, BSc biology, right? And I crossed over to study physiology. Wow. First of all, I need my flowers. Physiology, dope. It was my first year in the university. I met some really great people. I met my friends, Fatai, Sadiq, Divine, Stephen. This is just a few amongst many great people that I met, with some of which I am still very much close with, even up till now, 2022. I remember, like Jesus, dude, like 2019, like I was a baller. All right, I was a baller because I was my first year in the university, and the courses that were being treated then were circled around physics and biology and chemistry. I'm just coming from studying biology major, so I don't think it should be any much of a problem. But it was, alright, it was a very huge problem. Because number one, first of all, I hated physics. I still do. I forever, I've always hated physics, alright. And so physics was also one of the important courses that I had to pass. Alright, now, let me give you a backstory real quick. Not a backstory. Let me give you the full story real quick. So first semester 100 level. That's 100 level that's like first that's our dual educational system. That's what we call it. 100 level. That's I think people call it. What's the word? It's Jesus. I've forgotten. If I remember, I would say freshman. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, dumb me. My first year, as a freshman, first semester. I remember towards our exam time, my friends and I we would read and study. I remember because now, first of all, I really do believe that the educational system. I don't know about any other part of the world because I've never really been to any other part of the world, but here in Nigeria, the educational system here was set up right to it was set up against students. I mean, it was established against us. Like, I've never seen something set up with the intention of helping us that's actually worked against us. Like, if education be against us, I mean, what can be for us? Like, I know I just twisted the whole Bible verse to prove my point, but like, for real though, I've never, like, I don't think there's any other sector in this nation that is so against its own people like education. I dare say, and I can stand anywhere and still say this, because I remember then, 100 level, like, first of all, that's like about almost 5,000 to 10,000 students are in one faculty, and the faculty only needs less than 300. Exactly. Yeah, 5,000 students thereabout, and his faculty only needs about 300 to make it over to the next level. Like, how do you do it? How do you cut away over 4,000 people just to get like 200 to get into the next level? Okay, moving forward now. I remember in first year, first semester, we would have to, because our college, as we call it, it's like a campus. I mean, apart from the main campus, right, where the basic medical science students went. Where we had medicine, we had nursing, we had physiotherapy, we had psychology, and we also had physiology. But optometry wasn't there with us, so majorly those anatomy. Basically this is the major what's it called, courses or whatever divisions that were found in this other campus. And so it was like very far from school, and you can't trek. So I remember, because my both parents at the time worked at this university. I know it was supposed to be a plus, or so I thought. So I remember I'll get my dad's vehicle. My friends and I, we would drive down to new college to get our registrations done and everything, get our matric number and everything. It was dope. It was super fly. Matter of fact, some people started seeing me with cars often, and so I started like kind of becoming popular. And I wasn't getting popular because they saw my grades or anything. I was getting popular because I was always driving cars. It was a Pilot. It was a Honda Pilot today. It was a Range Rover tomorrow, and like that. I remember. This is so funny. My friends probably remember this. I was driving a car without brakes. Yep, I would speed, and this car had no brakes, like no brakes. I'm that much of a bad driver. Like, I'm supposed to be in the Fast and Furious franchise. Like, I drive a car without brakes. My friends are at the back, are like, oh my god, screaming all the time. My friend Steven, you're listening to this, you scream a lot. Like, Steven is a scaredy cat. Like, this dude screams at everything. I don't know if he screams at cockroaches, but this dude screams. Oh my god. I'm talking to you, Steven Yorker. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm calling all your names. If I remember your middle name, I'm finna put the inside of this thing. Like, dude screamed anyhow. Alright? Because it's like, oh my god, we're speeding like, because we're like, and like, young people now, you always kind of like go over the limit. I was always going at about 80. Yeah, 80 km per h. Like, I was always going 80 kilometers per hour. And my friends are at the back like, this guy don't have no brakes, brother. This guy don't have no brakes. And I was like, yeah, we're gonna move. And here's the worst part. The road had, oh my god, the road had potholes, right? There are potholes everywhere. As at the time, I think they fixed it now. There are potholes everywhere, and so that I am literally dodging potholes and still going at 80 km per h. I know, crazy. I am dodging potholes and moving at 80 kilometers per hour. Not the best drive, honestly. I mean, it's like every time, oh my god, every time it's almost as if the car wants to tilt over to the right side. And I honestly see why Steven screamed a lot, because driving a big vehicle, I mean, like, it's an SUV, Ranger, and going at that speed and dodging potholes, Probably not the best fit, honestly. Probably not the best fit. But I remember we would go over to college so many times, to do a few things, registrations and all that. But look, what I'm saying in essence, anyway, is I'm trying to like show you how much we put into it, how much I put into this thing. I remember, matter of fact, I never wanted to change schools, but when I discovered the course was actually better, it's physiology for crying out loud, man. I am taking this, I'm grabbing this horse, man, by the reins. I do not want, I don't care what it needs me to bring to the table, but I am bringing it. First semester, I remember, oh my god, exam. It was 2019 exam around March. Dude, I am telling you, for any person listening, it was the very first time in the university's existence, very first time in university existence, that we were writing test and exam on the very same days. Like, we call it exam. Like, that's the first place ever that I was even hearing it being done. It was the first place ever that it ever happened. Like, sorry, first time ever it ever happened in the history of the university. Right? Exam. We wrote test and exam on the very same day. Now, why I'm emphasizing on this is it's CBT. Yeah, a computer-based test. Meaning, normally when you go to write tests, it gives you a feel of what the exam will look like, right? Will feel like. But when you're writing, you are literally logging in, logging out, and logging back in again, because you're trying to do test and exam on the very same days. And so everything was so crazy because, guys, like, first of all, there's about 5,000 students going in for the same exam or different exams at the same time. And so there's a very long queue. It's almost like, only God knows how long, maybe like, definitely more than, probably like 2 kilometers long. I am telling you, to show you how crazy it was. The queue is so long. So before you get into the exam, you definitely have to stand on the queue for like hours before it's your turn, and then you go to do the exam. So you're going to do an exam that's supposed to be by 8 o'clock, and then you're there by 7 or so. You have to then wait like 2 hours later till like it's 10 or 11 before you can get in. It is so. The educational system is so rigged to set students up. I've never seen it anywhere, done anywhere else except here. I remember the exam, dude. I was reading. I was literally trying to like grab scraps. I would go for night classes. My friends. I remember one time. Oh my god. My friend and I, Divine. I don't know who else. We went for night classes, dude. And I remember because we went at night, and we went to a particular hall called NSLT2, and this hall for some reason had no bulbs in it. Yep, it had no lights. I remember my friend and I would have to go to the front of the CBT center. We'll go to the front and then go to use. We read with street lights that night. I can never forget. And do you know what we were reading? Nothing other than a particular book. Now, remember I said I love biology. I did biology, right, before I crossed over to this school. So I believe I had some idea of what biology was. Yeah, I did. Genuinely, I did. Up until I saw a particular stupid course. I don't know why the course exists. The course is called zoology. Oh my god. Like, no offense to any person studying zoology, but that course is crap. Especially the way it is offered to us in this school. Dude, they give us a book. I think it's like 101 or 105. I think it's 105. And this entire, it's a mini textbook. I have no idea how many pages are in this book, but I think I probably should still have it somewhere. It's a mini textbook. I think we bought it was it 3,000 naira or 5,000? I can't remember, naira. And we had to finish this. We had to cram every page in this book for exam. Yep. There was no splitting this joint into two. Okay, you do this first half or first bit in first semester and the other bit in second semester. No, we had to cram a whole textbook for one semester. I know that my friends who are in medicine are probably like, yeah, we do that every time. But it's different. Think about it. If you think about it for a minute, it's different because what you're doing is a build up of it's one course, but it's built up over different sessions, and so this is different. This is the only time you ever want to know anything about Zoomastiga and the phylum Arachnida. and phylum Chordata, sorry, class Arachnida, or phylum, and all these, I have no interest whatsoever for any phylums, for any binomial nomenclature. Like, who sent Carolus Linnaeus to do any of the things he did? I still remember his name, by the way, from secondary school biology. Like, this entire book, I don't know how many pages it was, but it was unnecessary. It's like 105. Oh my god, 101, I don't remember. Man, I hated that course. My friend and I had to go under the street lights to read. It's like course. Yeah, you know, if you know anything about Nigerian weather, you know that mosquitoes are not a very good friend. Like, those guys just be biting, and they bite you anywhere, like anywhere, any skin they find. Like, yo, bro, what's going on? Like, I'm seeing flesh. Hey, yo, homie, man, we got some flesh here. If you're interested, just pull over. Yeah, pull up, and we're gonna feast tonight. And you are there, like, I just want to read my slide. I just want to read my slide. And all over here. My friend, so we finished reading about around like past 2 a.m. or 3. We had to go back into NSLT to sleep, and woke up the following day to do exam. Sorry, we go ready for exam the following morning, because it was that crazy, guy. And my god, I remember all of this now. It just sends chills down my spine, because I remember what made it all the more worse for me was, I remember it was during harsh weather conditions. Like, the sun was so crazy. Oh my god, you would have to stand under the sun for over 2 hours or 3, depending on, especially when you're writing GNS, because GNS is the only general English course, right? And you think it's simple, and it is simple. I mean, I really hoped it was simple, but my results proved otherwise. I'll explain that in a minute. But like, we were going in for GNS, and it's like the entire school is writing GNS. The entire school. It feels like that, because there are I am not even exaggerating, over 10,000 people are about to go in for an exam. Yup, over about 10,000 people about to go in for one GNS. Like, how do you expect us to cope? And do you know, like, oh god, and then there is the paramilitary guys with their canes in their hands, trying to like flog any person who's not on the line. It was, I mean, their season ID cards, season course registration forms, like, everything goes crazy. I mean, dude, and oh god, man, remembering it now, just, oh god, it makes me, oh man, so pissed at the education system. Because I remember the weather conditions then were so harsh that I had a very bad stomach. Like, very bad stomach. I think it was dysentery, or was it diarrhea? I don't know. Like, it was so crazy, my stomach could not hold food anymore, because the weather conditions were so harsh. My stomach could not hold food, so I was using the toilet constantly. So I was losing water. I was getting dehydrated very often, because I was literally losing water per every poop. And I also was losing my mind, because of everything was happening so flipping fast. I remember, in fact, it was so crazy. One day, I remember I go back home one time in March. That was when the exam was in 2019. I can never forget the month. One time in March, I just was like sleeping. I just literally fell asleep on my sofa. Like, I literally fell in that joint and I slept. And I remember mid sleep, my hand on my head or something, I don't know, just like went across the corner of the sofa where my phone was positioned. My phone I was using there was positioned, and I slapped my phone off of the couch, and this I mean off the sofa, and this joint, literally my phone fell on the floor with its face down. Yup, if you know anything about smartphones, you know definitely the screen didn't survive it, because it didn't. But to show you how tired I was, I looked down, I looked at my phone, picked it up, looked at the fact that looked at the phone and saw that it was correct, and I put it back where it was before, and I slept. Not like I didn't feel the pain, but the pain of my phone was not like in any way worth to be compared with the pain I was feeling inside my body. To show you how bad it was. Exam was done a couple weeks later. I was grateful. I mean, finally I have some time to catch my breath, and About a few weeks later, or a month, I remember months later, you know, check your portal, check your portal, check your portal. Result is out, result is out. Check your portal, result is out. I don't remember the order or sequence in which the results came out, to be honest and to be fair, but I do remember that my result was bad. I had F's anyhow. Like, like these guys were just disbursing F's for me. And honestly, I don't always capitalize around like, oh, I didn't feel, no, for that first semester. I know that if anything, those were not the best living and reading conditions for any student. Don't get me wrong, I had people who passed, who did well, but not every person is on the same scale in how they assimilate. Not everybody can assimilate under pressure. And but after I saw my results in first semester, I was so bad about myself, because it felt like every work I put into this joint, every night of studying, of racking my mind or racking my brain, every ounce of sweat and pound of flesh that I put into this thing came back like a beef slap in my face. I just got beef slapped by my own efforts. And of course, I felt disappointed. I'm saying this story and it's so funny, and I know, but it is so sad all the same, because I was so disappointed in myself. But like, I mean, one blow is not enough to knock me to the ground, if you know anything about me. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to deep again. I'll try again. Second semester, I remember resuming school. I resumed this determination in my system. God sees it, and God knows. Like, my family even knows this. So much determination in my system. Like, this second semester, I am coming home with A's. The courses that really let me down the first semester mainly was physics. Yeah, and that stupid Zly. So I was like, you know what, second semester, I am proving to Zly that I am better than him. Better than her, better than it. I don't care any gender you want to appropriate to that. But like, I was so determined second semester. Man, I was reading, picking up materials and all this stuff. Oh God. I remember, we had like 30% lectures, 70% what? Materials. And so your lecturers could choose not to come. In fact, you might never see a lecturer until like a few weeks to exam. And but then the only thing you've got in place of them is materials, PDFs, hundreds of pages, 30 something, 100 and something pages, and you have to finish the entire thing for one semester. I know, bad. I remember when I wrote my second semester exams, I wrote it. Oh my God, I dedicated my life to this thing. Because I remember, second semester exam, I discovered that first semester I discovered that reading with my friends didn't really pay me, because we would joke and do all these things, and my other friends were pretty much more intelligent than I was in the area of physics and chemistry, and that wasn't really my strength. Biology was always my strength, but even that didn't really thrive in between the thorns of the educational system. But I remember I made a decision to myself: listen, Emmanuel, you are going to read on your own. This semester, you are reading on your own. And I did. I mean, all my life till this very day. Not even for a sermon. I'm sorry. Not even for anything have I ever prepared that much like I did second semester up to 100 level. Freshman year, like I read so hard. Like, I read so well that physics, especially physics, I directed my attention to that physics 152. I can never forget. I read physics 152 so much that I was trying out past questions, and I was literally acing the past questions. Even bad, some of the past questions had wrong answers. I would correct them, and I go meet my friends like, dude, did you discover this had wrong answer? And they were like, yeah, I discovered. And I mean, I was so proud of myself. Like, yo, Emmanuel has really leveled up. Like, second semester, I have leveled up. Because, like, come on man, like, I cannot afford, like, for one stupid course to put my back on the ground the second time. I remember going for the exam again. No, was it exam this time around? No, it was not exam. It was test, then exam. Now another stupid thing they do, they don't check. They don't let you know what your test results are. Yeah, which I do believe is crap. You're supposed to see your test results so you can know how to prepare for your exam results. But again, educational system. But at least you saw your test questions. You could, and so I went with that. Second semester exam. I remember. Oh God, I put my life on that John. Like I worked it. And I aced it. I am not even lying. This is not. I mean, I aced this thing. I did so well. I put my heart and soul into this thing. Every course, every exam was. I mean, I remember coming out. I can never forget. I came out of physics 152. I remember yeah, wait for physics 152. I just came. I saw my friend, my very good friend, Shay. What's up? And I saw Shay. I was like, yo, where are the other guys? And they're like, they're just coming. I said, all right, let's go for this exam. I was so pumped. I went in for physics 152. And you bet, definitely, I aced this job. I came out and I was like, God, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Everything I read for came out. Thank you, Jesus, for I ticked and I checked every box. Or so I thought. I'm sorry I'm yelling in your ears. I mean, so I thought. Like, a few months later, July, August. It was actually in August, but I mean, July, August. I remember. Man. I remember I was I remember where I was. I was at Challenge in Lorraine here. I was trying to get some things for August. My brother's birthday was coming right up, so we went to get him some. Was it was coming right up, or it was on my brother's birthday day? Yep, my brother's birthday day. Now let me hold on. Let me go back a bit. During exam time, I remember there was a course. Now my very good friend remember this. There was a course in our exam called Physics 142 in second semester. Physics 142. I remember. With me and my friend Divine, we had to wait on the queue for hours. And when it was time for us to get in, I remember we were going in like happy, like finally. Then there was this big man, I think was light skinned, and the man just called both of us and seized our ID cards. Why? He said our hair was full. Like, what in the world are you telling me, Mr. Man? Like, this is the first place in my entire life that I've ever seen them send students back, not because their hair was rough, but because their hair was full. That is above fingernail length. Anything above fingernail length for them was full. And they would send us back because we had full hair. Now, I didn't mean it was like a written exam. I could say, okay, maybe they assume students are stuffing papers in their hair. But this is computer based, like random questions. Like the entire system was created in order to randomize the questions that would show. And you are sending students back because their hair is full. Like Jesus Christ, and you call that decency? No, this is not. There's nothing more immoral than this. I know, like immoral is always attributed to something related to sex, but no, this is immoral because you are literally demoralizing these children. A few minutes to the exams, these kids have spent hours reading, and the only thing you can do for them is send them back. I know. And by the way, this podcast is not a dig at the University of Illinois. Just so you know. Wink, wink. But like, I remember my friend and we turned back at the gates, and I was like, oh my God. So I went back to the man and was like, what do you want? I was like, my ATM card is attached to my ID card. It was, strapped together. So I took my ATM card. My friend and I ran. We ran from CBT Center. If there's any Lawrence student listen to this, we ran from CBT Center to where was that place? I think somewhere around JV Tech or JV Tech. I don't know what it's called. Somewhere around Motion Ground. Yeah, it was around Student Affairs. Sorry, Student Affairs. We ran from CBT Center to Student Affairs. We ran. We didn't walk. We ran so we could get a barber. And then I remember going to this. I withdrew 1,000 naira. I went, and that's all that I had in my account. If I'm not mistaken. Thank God I even had the money. We got to this place with the barber, and I have never met a bad barber before. Like this dude, I don't think he's going to heaven. He's definitely going to hell. And if he's not, I am personally reserving a seat for him in hell. Like, dude, like if there are RSVPs, if you know any RSVP link, please send it to me via DM or send it to me via mail. Like, I really want to like register this guy because this guy is the worst barber. This dude literally just put his clippers to our hair and just boom. It didn't even rhyme. And this dude collected 500 naira for both of us, like 500 for me, 500 for my friend Divine. So 1,000 naira. I mean, for the same amount, I will go and get a nice haircut that every girl on my street is gonna be tripping for me. But this dude took 500 naira from me and did a bad job. I have never seen a bad job in one haircut before, like I did that day. But I remember looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, I don't recognize me. I look at my friend Ivan, I was like, yo, dude, you look handsome brother than I do right now. Like, I was so ugly. Oh my Jesus. Oh my God. Remembering this just sends all the chills. I remember after that we ran back because I mean you could get there if we didn't run, you could get there and discover that hey, they say no more exam for you. You came late. I'm like, sir. And they would say no exam, and what can you do? This is a system. You cannot fight a system. That's the problem. Systems are the hardest things to fight because it's not a one-man thing. It is a system. It is a conglomerate of stupid people making stupid rules that affects every other person aside themselves, because that's what systems do, right? It's not just one person. It's like skeletal system. The entire joints and marrows and everything is working together. I'm sorry I call them stupid people, but I believe this is like my podcast, so I can be free to say anything I want. Yep, I do believe this is a Christian podcast, but this is a podcast on which I can say anything I want, right? Okay, just want to be clear. All right, we're straight. We good. So anyway, long story short, I remember I was in challenge August 6th or August 7th. I think the day before it, or the day of my brother's, that's like my brother's birthday day. And I remember my results came out and I was talking to a very good friend of mine, Wumi, and I was like, yo, Wumi, what's up? There's the first results that came out was physics 142. That same exam, yep. And I remember I asked her, yo, Wumi, have you seen your result? And she was like, yep. And she was like, it's not good. I said, what did you score? She said she got an E. I was like, all right. I said it to her. I said, I don't really expect anything from this course. Because I remember that day when I got back home, I told my mom, I said, I don't expect anything for this course. Why? Because I remember after all the strife and struggles to get into the exam hall that day, to cut our hair and our fingernails too, by the way. I remember we walked into the exam hall. I got into the exam hall, settling down. I remember seeing a guy who was just leaving the exam hall, whose hair length was times 3 of what mine was before I cut it. Yeah. His hair length or height was thrice the length of mine before I chipped it. And that was how I knew that this entire system is failed. And I was so angry at myself, so angry at the system, so angry at the man who stopped us, so angry at the school, so angry at life. And to be honest and to be fair, I was also so angry at God. Like, if this could have happened to any person, why should he have been me? I was so disappointed, right? Because the system that was supposed to make the leaders of tomorrow is the same one that is betrayed the scholars of today. And I remember when I got home, I told my mom that I was just taking every answer I found. I wasn't checking to see if this is right. I was taking every answer. Anyway, August, I was on my phone with my friend with me. My phone screen was still cracked this time, and she said she had an E. I checked my result, and brothers and sisters, I kid you not, I had an F. I wasn't surprised because I was like, the best is still yet to come. And best was my dears, physics 152. Or so I thought again. Physics 152. I was in my living room, my friend Divine. And I was like, yo, Divine, have you checked your result? And I was like, yeah, what did you get? I said, I think you got a B or an A, something like that. And I was like, what did I get? And I'm like, man, I was just about to look it up. I was expecting nothing less than an A. I think he told me he got a B. And my man, I was like, ha ha ha. Fam, I'm about to get it. An A right now. And everybody's about to scream. I'm about to share, give Thanksgiving on Sunday that I had the best results yet. And to show the devil that I'm better than what he has thought of me or thought me to be. And lo and behold, I checked my result. My brothers and my sisters, I got a solid F. I think I only scored 30 something or 20 something in physics 152. And that was when I knew that not only was this educational system rigged or set up against us, but the educational system was set up to fail us. Yeah, because And I do stand with thousands of people who've had the same thing happen to them, to say that our results were changed. Our results were changed because they were trying to make that status quo. They were trying to reach that status quo. They were trying to reach their 300 people they needed for that course. So over 5,000, I mean, what am I saying? Thousands of students who have gone to the same school have had this complaint. I'm not the only one. So if it was just me, I was like, Emmanuel, well, maybe it's just you. Maybe you just didn't work hard. No, fam. I've had thousands of people's testimonies. Like, of course, not like I've heard, but like so many. I'm very sure that someone listening to this podcast right now who has also gone through the same thing. I mean, you might reach out to me, but I don't think it's necessary because I understand your pain. Someone has had your results being switched, maybe by University of Illinois, maybe it's by another university. I talk to people and they tell me the same thing. They changed this thing because the system was set up and designed to cause us to fail. Of course, not everybody fails, and I'm happy for you if you fail, but do not for 1 minute take a dig at people who failed, because you don't know why they failed. Not everybody failed because they did not do well. Some people failed because the system did not allow their seeds to go into the soil. In fact, it was so worse for me because every result after that result started coming out as F, as E, as D. I think I only had 2 Ds, and it was in GNS, English. Come on now. Not even a C or a B or an A. F's, and F's. Whew. This is so hard for me to remember. Because I remember around about that time, there was this girl I liked then. I wouldn't say her name. She's probably listening. And I remember I asked her then, like, yo, have you seen if this 140 result? She was like, yeah. What did you get? She said she got a C. And she asked, what did you get? And I said, I got an F. And this girl ghosted me for almost a month. This girl did not text me until like a month later or 2 months later. And you know what her excuse was? I was busy. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not me like dissing anybody, but this is just one part. This is just one. To be honest, 2019 was although it's a very huge part of my life, but it's only a tiny bit. To be honest, when I look back on how life has really treated me, sometimes I feel like I was dealt a bad hand. You know, like I'm just carrying this bag of bad luck, and I just don't know where it is. Like it feels like that. Pilgrim's Progress, the book by John Bunyan, where there was a man named Christian, and he was carrying this heavy burden behind him, and he just did not know how to let go of the burden. That's how disappointment felt like for me. Like I was carrying it behind me like a backpack. I was carrying it all over everywhere I went, all over the place. And because, I was so depressed right after that result. So depressed I didn't want to leave again. I was so depressed I didn't have the courage to face my friends again. I was so depressed because I was so disappointed in my friends even. Not everybody was checking in on me. Not everybody, because like some people are like, I'm thankful for myself, man. And I didn't even tell some people. And so I was disappointed in my friends. I was disappointed because I couldn't even look my parents in the eye, because I told them I was going to come back home with a great result. I couldn't look my siblings in the eye. They're supposed to be looking up to me, and the person they're supposed to be looking up to has no educational footing right now. I'm supposed to be looking up. I felt disappointed by the system, felt disappointed by my friends, felt disappointed by myself. And most of all, I felt disappointed by God, because that also happened to be around the time where I really took God serious. I took him for his word. I prayed, I fasted, not just because I wanted him to give me a good result. I wasn't like one of those people who would pray for excellence and then will not work hard. I am never that dude. I'm a dude. If anybody knows me very well, they know this for sure. I'm a dude who works hard and who prays hard, right? I'm trying to balance the both of them. I'm not trying, because our works goes along with our faith, right? I'm working because I desire a result, and I'm planting seeds in the ground. God only blesses seeds in the ground. He does not put seed in the ground for you. He blesses the seed you put in the ground, right? And so I put seed in the ground, and I expected the blessing, and I didn't get any, and so I felt let down by God. People that I said I loved felt let down by life itself. What is the meaning of life if the expectation of the righteous will always be cut short? Yeah, I know you know the Bible verse that says, "The education of the righteous shall not be cut short or cut off." But sometimes I really did feel like mine was. I know you feel the same thing. Maybe your story is not like my story. Maybe yours is even worse. Maybe yours is does not come close. Maybe you just feel, because disappointment is highly relative. Like every person has their own interpretation of disappointment. The friend you trusted who failed you, so I start telling you stories of that. Disappointment is crazy, right? I mean, friends disappoint you, people that you trust. I mean, the only reason disappointment exists is because to some extent you've appointed a level of trust into something, and its performance fell below par. Like it fell below your expectation. That's all. That's the reason you feel disappointed, because something performed below expectation. And so firsthand, I know what that feels like. For life to perform or to respond to you below your expectation. Even till date, I still wrestle with disappointments. People disappoint me. I was on the phone with someone yesterday, and I was expecting that they would sound. I was asking him for a favor, and I was expecting that he would sound like very much encouraging, but nah, rather he sounded condescending. Disappointment. It's everywhere, to be honest. You look around, there's disappointment everywhere. Even this is disappointing, to be honest. Disappointment everywhere. You expect something to happen in a certain way, but it happens to fall a totally different way. So, what is my advice to you? That verse that says the expectation of the righteous, that scripture that says the expectation of the righteous shall not be cut short, has always been true. That God is faithful, it has always been true. That God never fails, it has always been true. And I know you're like, are you sure it's true? But I failed. He failed me. Nah. The verse of the scripture says the expectation of the righteous shall not be cut short. But he never said anything like the expectation of the righteous shall not be stretched long. I said again, that verse said the expectation of the righteous shall not be cut short. But it never said the expectations of the righteous shall not be stretched long. Because I believe that sometimes the reason God allows disappointments to happen is so it can stretch our expectation. What do you mean, Emmanuel? If I made it through to 200 level physiology, and I'm studying physiology now, I'm probably my fourth year now, and in next few months I'll be getting ready for convocation, I dare say that I will not be where I'm at today. I will not be having this podcast, and I would not understand the power of faith. I dare say boldly to you, listen to me, that there will be no Emmanuel.adekeye if there was no 2019. But this is a path I could not have designed for myself. This is the path I could not have mapped out for myself. This is the path I could not have imagined for myself. Why? Because God does not cut the expectations of his righteous ones short. Rather, he stretches it, because we are so myopic in our design, and we are so self-centered in our plans. Like he says, many are the plans in a man's heart, but it is the purpose of the Lord that would ultimately prevail. Why? Because God knows that our plans are always selfish. We never see beyond us. We never see the billions of people who our testimonies will encourage. I did not see that someday, somehow, I'll be on a podcast, my own podcast, by the way, and I'll be encouraging someone on the other end of the line, and they will be getting encouraged by my own story. I never saw the essence of suffering as a part of my trials and tribulation, and how the afflictions I suffer now is nothing in comparison with the glory that will be revealed in me through my story. By the way, the glory is the glory of God. But I never saw it back then. Because God stretches the expectations of his righteous ones. Because, God could have given Abraham a baby the moment he asked for it. But instead, he stretched it till Abraham was 100 years old. Why? Because he was stretching his expectation. Because Abraham was asking for a child. God's like, I'm about to give you a nation. Genesis 15, God's like, I'm about to give you a nation, not just a child, not just a boy. I'm about to make you the father of many nations, not just the father of a boy. But because of Abraham's myopic nature, just like every human being ever was, is, and probably will still be myopic, we don't see beyond here. And all we see is our present need and the present pressure we feel. What we don't see is it is working a great harvest of glory that will be revealed through us. We do not see that. God is not trying to fail you. God does not fail. He is ever faithful. But the reason we think God is not faithful is because we expected for his faithfulness to match with our preferences. We expect God to show up how we want him to show up, when we want him to show up, and in the manner by which we want him to show up. But God's like, you cannot box me. I mean, I said this one time because I heard Craig Michelle say I said in my sermon one time, like I own it. And it was that if you expect God to do what you ask for, the way you ask for it, then God will have no room to exceed your expectations. We always say, unto him who is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we could ever ask, think, or imagine. And my translation says immeasurably above. But you ask God to do exceeding above all that you could have asked. Listen now, thought or imagined. Meaning, if you could ask it, that's not how we do it. If you could imagine it, that's not how we will make it happen. If you could think it, that's not how we construct it. So God does not. And by the way, let me tell you this. Just I know this might sound like harsh encouragement, but there is no Bible scripture that negates disappointment. There is no. Literally, John 11 speaks of Martha and Mary getting disappointed by Jesus. Now, this is not just God. Like, this is for Jesus, God. But this is not like the ethereal being we relate with as a friend, right? No. This is someone we see with our very own eyes, right? We have seen him beholding. We have seen his son. We have seen Jesus. Like, they saw Jesus. They lived with Jesus. They fed Jesus. Like, Jesus, I fed you. Are you gonna play me like that? You're gonna intentionally come late when I told you that my brother was ill. They felt disappointed by Jesus. There is no Bible verse there's no verse in the entire Bible there's a commandment against disappointment. There is no commandment against disappointment. Disappointment is a part of life, because through disappointment, God stretches our faith. He stretches our expectations even to a point where we cannot think of it, we cannot imagine it, we cannot conclude it with our mind. If not, then we would say it went as I planned. Rather, we would say it is all to the glory of God, because I could not have imagined this. Listen, man, I just want you to be encouraged. I know you feel depressed. I know you feel sad. I know you feel annoyed. I know you feel angry at life, at people, at yourself. I know you've heavily contemplated suicide. I did. I remember seeing a big boss. After first semester results came out. I remember seeing a big boss passing. I was like, what if I just jump in front of this boss? But do you know what the Holy Spirit told me then? I thought it was my thought, but thinking about it and I realized it was the Holy Spirit. He said, if you die now, your death will have no meaning. Like, if you die now, Emmanuel, I'm telling it to you today, if you die now, if you quit now, then your quitting and your death would have no meaning. You have no meaning whatsoever. Let me tell you something. Your story will have more impact than your death would. Your story will have more impact than you quitting. Than your quitting would. Like, you have to ensure that you don't give up. Why do I say don't give up? Like, listen, we all, even sometimes I don't give up. Sometimes it's a silent divorce. That's silent quitting. You're quitting in silence. But listen, if you quit and you give up, there will be no justifiable story to tell to the person who is coming after you, who would travel the same path, who you're supposed to encourage and be a model for. There will be no justifiable excuse to tell them why you quit. So you can't quit now, brother. You can't quit now, sister. Look at me now. I am happy. I am satisfied. I am past that. And God has done, oh my God, if I start to count how many blessings I receive every day, if I start to count how many blessings God has done in my life, the ministry is one blessing. This podcast is another blessing. You are another blessing. If I start to count to you, man, we're going to stay here forever. But listen, God is stretching. And let me tell you one more thing. Sometimes disappointment also are God planting speed breakers on our way. 2019, I was a comic. I was doing comedy. I was hosting or emceeing events. I actually, that year, I only emceed one I was supposed to MC one in 2020, a major Twitter hangout here in Lorraine. Someone DM'd me. I was like, "Yo, we want you in our event." I was supposed to MC an event. I was supposed to, be this crazy popular guy who was everywhere, hosting shows, being an MC and stuff. I mean, this dude literally bumped. This is so funny. I can never forget. This dude literally bumped one of the biggest hype men here in Lorraine. I don't mention his name. He's a friend of mine, although I haven't seen him in a while. But this dude literally This dude almost bumped. Or literally bumped, not even almost. He literally bumped this dude, and he was like, "Yo, I want you to be the MC in my event." But God was like, "Emmanuel, you're created for more than just being a prankster, a comic, and an MC. Alright, man. You were created for more. And I'm telling you this, you are created for more. Sometimes you need to just remember that I was created for more. I know that the feeling of disappointment and failure is highly debilitating, because then you are thinking, oh my God. The first thought that comes to your mind, where do I start from? The only thing you can think of is ground level, that you are at ground level, and everything you worked this years and put your heart and life and soul into has just crumbled and crushed before your eyes, and you are angry because you don't know where to start from, and so you feel so disappointed. But listen now, my man, listen now, lady. God puts speed breakers on our way, because sometimes we can be going so fast, like I was my dad's Range Rover, right? We can be hitting 80 kilometers per hour, dodging speed bumps, and still be headed in the wrong direction. You can be so tenacious and be so tenaciously destructive with your decisions. And so God plans speed breakers to cause you to do what? Slow down. And for your GPS to recalculate. And say, no, you're off track. And this is the way back. Listen, man. I pray for you now. If you ever felt disappointed, if you ever feel like life has not been fair to you, listen. Life is not fair to anybody. If I'm to be honest with you, life is not fair to anybody. And I know that I hate to hear it. All the same, I hate to say it. But the truth is, life is not fair. I mean, I've met even believers who expected to be a certain way towards me. Do you know how many of my friends I called to join me in the ministry? When it started, do you know how many of them failed me? Do you know how many of them ghosted me? Do you know how many of them insulted me? Do you know how deep the mud was that I was dragged in? Right, and that's in it, not literally in the figure. That's like that's as a figure of speech. Do you know how many mods I was dragged in because I said I want you to join me, be my worship team, or help me in ministry? Do you know how many of my friends looked at me and still do look at me today condescendingly? Do you know how many? I have friends who still don't consider me a pastor. Like, they would literally bump me for every other person. Like, and I don't let it get to me. Like, I don't. Because the disappointment today is not even as heavy as it was then. And even if it's heavy now, I know if I could survive that one, I could survive this. And I believe that the reason, listen, the truth is that nobody will ever respect you if you don't make it out. If you don't make it out the other side. Believe it or not, people are going to call you a quitter. They're going to call you a failure if you don't make it out the other side. I was on a phone call with someone who's supposed to be very close to me today. With him, I was on a phone call with him last week. And this man was literally telling me, like, I believe in your vision, da 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 da. And this same person was the same person who called me a failure a couple years back. But why would he say that now? Because I did not quit. Listen, if you quit, nobody will change what they think about you. But if you stay honest and stay humble and stay connected to the grind and the hustle, and you stay connected to God as number one, by the way, not as a side gig or as a resource, as the source of every life and everything that pertains to life and godliness, if you would embrace and hold on to God and not hate, this is the part you don't want to believe or don't want to listen to, and not hate or be bitter. If you would commit and connect and commit to your purpose and connect with God on a deeper level, yo, I'm telling you, people would change their narrative about you. People would change their thought. They are going to be in your DMs. They are going to be calling you woman of God. They are going to be calling you man of God. They're going to be calling you, oh, my boss. They're going to be calling you boss. They're going to be like shouting in your DMs. They're going to be doing all these things. Now, this is not supposed to be. Like this is not supposed to be for material purposes, but I'm telling you for real, they're gonna be tripping in your DMs. They're gonna be asking you for help, but nobody would ask you for help if you don't make it out the other side. Nobody would ask you for counsel if you don't make it the other side. Do you know how many people I have now who randomly just text me and ask me for encouragement? People who consult me now for stuff pertaining that's about their lives. Well, nobody would have if I never made it through. Nobody would have if I never worked on myself. Nobody would have. And so if you just say, oh, this blow is so hard, I cannot get up from this. So far as you still got lung breath in your lungs, it means that you were made for more. And so if you just label yourself by something that happened in one season of your life, I am sorry to tell you, then there will be no glory at the end of this race for you. You might as well just turn back and never, it's better you never started this journey than you start and then you quit in the middle because you met speed breakers in the way. Of course, you failed. So what? So what? Since life is hard. So what? You've got no money and you're above 20s and you're in your 20s. You're still living in your parents' house and they are still feeding you. So what? Are you committed to your grind? Do you stick to your hustle? Are you always working? Are you working hard? Then F whatever anybody wants to say. Yep, I'm a pastor and I said F. Like, flip whatever anybody wants to say. Do not care about what people are saying. There will always be people who speak. I mean, the evidence of life is communication. People will always say something, right? And so if you allow that label, you're only gonna miss out. And at the end of the day, they're gonna be like, why didn't you make it, brother? I thought you were doing something one time. You're like, you talked me out of it. And they'll be like, me? Really? Why then did you listen to me? I didn't know what I was doing then. Listen, that's how the world operates, man. So don't quit. Don't give up. I love you. Listen, man, I'm praying in the name of Jesus for every person who is discouraged, for every person who feels disappointed by God, by people they love, people who worked hard for something and the entire thing crashed back in their face. I'm praying that God will encourage you, that God will give you fresh strength, and God will cause your heart to hope again, to live again, to have faith again, to dare to believe again, that you will not just live in the mirage and that mirror or smoke rather that the enemy has been showing you, telling you that you are what you were, or that your worth is in what you did, or that you are defined by your mistakes or by your past. That instead God will show you that you were made for more, that you are worth more. That if He could arrange all of your bones and put them in place, if you could set all your organs in place and your eyes is not in your leg and your leg is not in where your eye sockets should be, then it means he's so intentional about you, not just beyond your out external design. He's so interested about your soul, and I'm praying like John says in 1 John 3 that you prosper and be in health even as your soul prospers. I'm praying prosperity for you in every cause that God has called you to. I am praying that you would make it out the other side and you will not die out in the middle. You will not die out in the desert. You will not fail. And even if you fail, if you fall, get back up. Bible says the righteous man falls 7 times, and guess what? He rises up again. I'm praying that you would rise up from whatever ashes, whatever ruins you fell into, and you will come out better, bolder, bigger, and stronger. Listen, y'all, I love you so much, and I can't wait to see what the future has for us. Listen, if you want to reach out to me, like I said, if you want to reach out to the Line Church, it's tchurchglobal@gmail.com. If you want to reach out to us in this podcast, send us a mail at emmy.adekeye, that's emmy.adekeye@gmail.com. That's a new email I just literally created this week for Conversations at Lunch. If you want to reach out to me, please reach out to me. I want to hear your story. If you feel like you're in a bad place, reach out to me. I would pray for you. I would literally send you a voice note. I am telling you, I don't normally say this, but reach out to me. Send me a mail, send me a text. I would pray for you. Listen, if you need support, if it's something I have in my power to do for you, I would do it. Because what? Because I believe there are so many destinies now that are in the mud. But listen, a mud does not determine the beauty of a butterfly. If a butterfly falls in the mud, what does it do? It gets back up, shakes its wings, and flies again, because you were destined for more. Listen, man, I love you. And yeah, I guess I'll see you next week then. Hopefully by God's grace we have a very great guest next week. If we don't, it's just gonna be me. Listen, man, I love y'all, and yeah, peace, and see you next week at Conversations at Lunch. This was great, and I love you, man. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. I love you. See you in church if you attend the line church. Cool. If you don't, visit the church that's word based, and they believe in God, and they pray and they balance God's word with their prayers, and they have faith. Listen, I love you all, and I can't wait to see what God will do through you, and I can't wait to hear from you guys. Thank you. I love you, and peace.